built as a tomb, but not for Egyptian pharaohs, but for the resting place of Adam, the first man. Some feel the sarcophagus is empty because apocryphal sources and legends state that Noah was instructed to take Adam's body with him on the ark. Another possibility is that the Great Pyramid may mark the burial site for Nimrod, the builder of the Tower of Babel and promoter of false religious systems based on his life. The myth of the dead god who becomes reborn, usually on the 25th of December, is replicated in many ancient cultures, with the gods involved having different names, but the story remains the same. In Egypt, Osiris is the Nimrod archetype. On March 2nd, 1999, the Fox television network broadcast the program Opening the Lost Tombs live from Egypt. It was supposed to be a live opening of a recently discovered tomb of Osiris located in underground tunnels near the Great Pyramid and Sphinx. The supposedly live opening was a bit of a farce. The tunnels had already been excavated and cleared away before the live event. Also, it appears that the knowledge of the tunnel's existence and whereabouts had been known since 1935, as evidenced by a London Daily Telegraph article from March 4th of that year. The second level of the tunnels, which contained a possible burial chamber with six rooms cut into the rock. It was suggested that this was the burial chamber for the pharaoh Khufu, as mentioned by the Greek historian Herodotus in 450 BC. He stated underground sepulchre chambers on the hill where the pyramid stands. A cut was made into the Nile so that the water from it turned the site of these into an island. The chamber contained two red granite sarcophagi, bones, and pottery, which had been dated to 500 BC. The pottery dates to the time of Herodotus' visit to Egypt, and a third level was found, which had a sarcophagus submerged in water. This was supposed to be Osiris' coffin. When it was opened, it was empty. Dr. Hawass believes it to be a ceremonial burial place of Osiris. There are other tombs of Osiris, one being in Abydos, Egypt, which has a similar layout. It seems a little strange that whenever they find a sarcophagus around the pyramid complex, it turns out to be empty. There could be perfectly legitimate reasons for this. The tombs were probably looted long ago, and the mummies possibly moved or destroyed. But you can't help but wonder what they may be covering up and hiding from these ancient sites. The program ended with Dr. Hawass standing by an entrance to a supposedly unexcavated tunnel in the northwest corner of the chamber. The tunnel went towards the Sphinx. The significance of this is that a prediction made by Edgar Cayce, an American psychic who died in 1945, said that the Atlantean Hall of Records would be found between 1996 and 1998 under the Sphinx. On April 14, 1996, Dr. Zawi Hawass announced to the Egyptian press that there were secret tunnels under the Sphinx and around the pyramids, and that he believed that these tunnels would prove to carry many secrets of the building of the pyramids. The tunnels were located by a team with sponsorship from Florida State University when they were granted a 1-year license to conduct seismic surveys around the Sphinx. The project was largely financed by the Shore Foundation of New York. Dr. Joseph Shore, the head of the foundation, is a multimillionaire who is a life member of the ARE, the Association of Research and Enlightenment. That is the group based out of Virginia Beach, Virginia, that promotes Edgar Cayce's work and teachings. Cayce would go into a trance state and make predictions and give medical advice. Cayce's statements while in a trance indicated his belief that Atlantis built the Sphinx and Great Pyramid around 10,000 BC, and that they buried the lost history of mankind in a chamber he called the Hall of Records under the Sphinx. These records cover the first destruction of Atlantis, the exodus of the Atlanteans to other lands, and the final destruction of Atlantis, and also descriptions of the construction of the Great Pyramid. He associated the revealing of the Hall of Records with the return of Jesus Christ. Cayce felt that the Hall of Records would not necessarily be revealed right away after it was found. This seems to be the case because no official excavations of this tunnel have been conducted as far as we know. Cayce's Hall of Records story, in a way, is similar to the Pillars of Enoch story, in that they both promote the idea that lost knowledge from ancient times was preserved for future generations to find. 1996 saw the opening of a small door in a very small shaft from the Queen's chamber. This 8 inch by 8 inch shaft was found to have a limestone door with two copper handles blocking the shaft. This door was found in 1993. When they broke through the door, another door was found, making the staged live opening very anticlimactic. Nothing more has been done to discover what may be behind that door. As the new millennium approached in 1999, plans were made for an extravagant celebration that would end with the Great Pyramid being topped off with a gilded capstone. The Egyptian Minister of Culture, Farouk Hosni, commissioned a 12-hour opera from the French composer Jean-Michel Jarre. The opera was called The 12 Dream of the Sun, and it cost $10 million US. The opera would be accompanied by a laser light show at midnight, and a helicopter would fly to the site and place the 28-foot capstone on the pyramid. The idea for replacing the missing capstone came from Dr. Zawi Hawass, after he found two limestone blocks with inscriptions depicting the placing of a capstone on a royal pyramid amid celebration and dancing. Up to 250,000 people would be allowed to attend the event. Then in September of 1999, a senior member of the Egyptian parliament began complaining about the expense of the event, and that it occurred during the month of Ramadan, the Islamic holy time of fasting. Then the Egyptian press found out that the celebration entailed the Eye of Horus symbol to be projected onto the Great Pyramid with laser lights. They portrayed the use of the Eye of Horus as a Masonic stunt to promote Freemasonry and Zionism. The U.S. dollar bill, which was designed by Freemasons, has a pyramid with a capstone being placed upon it, with the Eye of Horus in the capstone. In the end, the Egyptian government was not willing to potentially have an incident with extremist Muslims over the capstone and had the event scrapped. Psychic Edgar Cayce had predicted that a capstone would be put on the Great Pyramid. It would act as a symbol for the rediscovery of the Hall of Records and for the establishment of a new world order based on Masonic principles. We don't know for certain if the capstone ceremony was just a celebration for the new millennium, or if it was meant to represent something more. Circumstantial evidence would suggest that something interesting may have been uncovered. The tunnels underneath the Sphinx and Pyramid may be the tip of the iceberg. In 2008, Andrew Collins, a British explorer, found an enormous cave system with chambers and tunnels that lie beneath the pyramid complex. He found clues to the whereabouts of the cave system from memoirs of a British diplomat from 1870. Like the Tomb of Osiris tunnels, there had been a semi-modern account of the cave system mentioned by others but not known in recent times, until Collins retraced the steps of the British diplomat's memoirs. Like the Tomb of Osiris, it may already have been excavated and anything strange removed. Daniel 11:43 tells us that the Antichrist gains control of the hidden treasures of gold and silver and precious things of Egypt. Could it be the secrets of the Great Pyramid that compels him to conquer this land? Thank you for your interest in this show, and may God bless and keep you.
The Revelation 13 podcast is hosted by Mike Hopwood and is a podcast dedicated to the study of end-time events, news events, and ancient mysteries.